Good afternoon, everyone. This is Christian with PerfectStockAlert.com, a 100% free service for smart investors and traders. All we ask in return, please refer a friend. Today is Tuesday. It's May 22nd, 2012. We're looking at a couple of different charts today. Mainly, I want to draw your attention to the gold chart. We've talked about this in the past, and actually, I see an opportunity here to go short at this point. You'll notice we talked about this in the past. You had previous support here, here, and then you broke down here. So that support line broken is going to then act as resistance. We talked about that back when you had this hammer candlestick formation. I told you you could trade it to the upside, but I wasn't going to do that because I didn't see a lot of upside potential here. I wanted, in fact, to find an opportunity to go short once she came close to this resistance line. And now we're seeing this basically form here. We don't really have a shooting star formation right here, but it's not required to get a peek out of that. You can actually do that with a situation like you had back here with just a spinning top. It also found at tops and bottoms. So with the fact that we have a confirmation today showing a bearish engulfing previous candlestick on this day here, we've already sold off any gain we had the upside, and yesterday was erased today. We use that as a confirmation here. So I'll use the high of this candlestick formation here, 1 cent above. That's where my stop is set. I'd get short this opportunity here and be looking for a test of this low, which I really wouldn't expect to hold in any shape or form. I wouldn't trade silver, and we'll show you that chart in a moment, but I would take this opportunity in gold. Let's take a moment here to look at the oil index, the XOI, and this one we've been stopped out of this trade. We got short back here, and then we saw this sell off for a few days and advancing the stop as we went, knowing that no market falls straight down. Eventually we will get a counter trend move to the upside. But we didn't want to play that to the long side because A, there's no hammer candlestick formation, B, she's in an overall downtrend, and finally the actual rally to the upside doesn't have to be that strong, especially when you're looking at a very strong downtrend. And again, we expected that bounce anyway because we were below the 30 line on the ultimate oscillator. So you get the bounce, but now we're getting a shooting star formation here. We saw one over here as well. So these are telling us that there is still sell pressure at that level. They have not changed their viewpoint here in these global markets, and we're starting to see the first signs of weakness. This isn't the only chart we're seeing. I've already shown you the gold chart. Now you're seeing it here. I wouldn't take a trade position here at this point in time. Just kind of keep an eye on it, but if we get another day of confirmation or something like that, I might consider it. But right now, I'm just watching it. It can shake these off. But right now, what you're seeing, the weakness that you're seeing, and I'll show you several other charts that you're seeing the same signal in. When you're seeing those signals, you've got to be ready to get short. And again, this is why I didn't want you getting long when we're seeing this bounce, because the upside potential is very limited here. And now anybody who is long is kind of stuck going, oh shoot, what do I do? Do I cut my losses, or do I what? So yeah, this is another reason why you don't want to be going long these markets. The silver chart is confirming a rollover in the price of metals. I've already shown you gold price. Here you're not seeing as clearly defined. You had a little move to the upside here, and then instead of a shooting star formation, you just kind of give a hammer formation, which can be a hanging man, which is actually another topping signal, and then you kind of rolled over here to the downside the next day, but you're not bearishly engulfed or anything of that nature. I don't get short in this situation because it's not a clearly defined opportunity that I like, and this one also didn't go as high as gold did as far as the overall chart pattern. Here's your support line here, here, and then you break it here, so you would expect a move to that level to find resistance. This one didn't even get that high. It went about half the distance and then started to roll over. The problem with shorting here is if this is just a first sign of weakness and not actually the peak, then it's easy to get short and then get stopped out and then peak here and then roll over. Well, so let's try to avoid that. So I'm taking one position on gold that would be okay for me to go short, but I'm going to avoid silver for the moment. Let's take a moment now to look at a couple other charts that are showing us the same signs of weakness, and we can see that here on the TSX, Toronto Stock Exchange, Canada's markets, you're getting a shooting star formation here. Again, not a bullish condition. She still can push to the upside here for a little bit longer, so I want to wait for some confirmation before I decide that I want to take a short position. However, we do have a pretty good gap from this low point here all the way up here to today's close. So again, it doesn't look strong to me. I would leave this alone. I wouldn't be a buyer of this market, but I don't want to jump on the short side just yet. The S&P 500, the SPX, this one is also showing us another shooting star formation right here, or long leg doji. Either case would not be a bullish condition for the market. They showed you they rallied to the upside intraday, but could not sustain it and quickly sold it off. To be looking at a chart when you've had this much of a sell-off, to not get any kind of a rally out of it, kind of tells you, even on the counter trend bounce, not getting any kind of a rally out of that, kind of tells you that there's really a strong bias here for markets to sell off. And when you can't get buy pressure, then what ends up happening is you end up going lower, which we've already talked about yesterday. We covered the U.S. markets in detail there in yesterday's video. So I'm not really surprised at this situation that we're seeing here. But again, I don't want to go short just yet. I want to wait for a little confirmation. A quick little look here at the VIX, which runs the inverse of the S&P 500. When the S&P is bearish, you should see the VIX is being bullish, and that's basically what we're seeing. And the fact that you've got only a very small pullback right here in the VIX, you've had this major move to the upside, then a little pullback, and now a hammer candlestick formation, that actually makes sense to me, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't go short the VIX when we were looking for a bounce to the upside in the overall markets, as we would have expected the VIX to pull back. But the reason I didn't go short there is because you had resistance here and here, and then again here and here. So whenever this gets broken, meaning you close above it, you're going to then find that this resistance turns into support. So finding the hammer so close to the top right there makes a lot of sense to me. So again, it would not be a good idea to go short there. You could take it from a long perspective and say, okay, I'm going to be a buyer here with a stop set off at this low point here. You could do that. I'd like to see a little more consolidation before I get into something like that. Just me personally, the VIX is kind of tricky to trade, so I really want a near perfect opportunity before I'm going to take an opportunity on the VIX. So let me see what I get tomorrow out of the VIX and the other markets, and we'll see whether or not I go long at that point on the VIX and short the S&P or other markets. But for now, just keep an eye on what's going on in the markets. We are seeing weakness develop in the major averages out there and around the globe, and that's not a bullish sign. It's a bearish sign. So you want to be looking for opportunities to get short major markets or be trading on alongside things that run the opposite or the inverse of the other averages, such as the VIX. Okay? If you've not been to our free website at perfectstockalert.com, it's right there. It's 100% free, and all we ask in return, please refer a friend. God bless, take care, and I will see you all tomorrow. Please take a moment to review our disclaimer. The information provided herein is our opinion only. Under no circumstances do any statements here represent a recommendation to buy or sell securities or make any kind of an investment. You are responsible for your own due diligence. To summarize, we do not provide investment advice, nor do we make any claims or promises that any information here will lead to a profit, loss, or any other result. These videos are for educational purposes only.